Well, we have got a show. Hey, I'm Dr. Pat. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. And I just want to give a shout out. No, we did not forget that this is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. I believe that is correct. That means a whole lot of things, but especially what it means is there are some things that you probably want to think about doing before you hop out there and think, I'm going to be gardening 24/7. The other thing you could do is you could talk to your local tick community and just say, look, go somewhere else. But, I've talked to ticks, I've talked to fish, I've talked to, honestly, some of the people I've talked to over 16 years, they talk to everything and everybody. But today, we're talking to the queen of shift, like Adam Schiff, but with the T. The queen Colette Marie Stefan. I asked her to join me here today because every once in a while, I have to have a conversation on my show, and all of you know who she is. I don't even know how this video is looking today on Facebook, but here's why I bring her on. Not only do I love listening to her show, and I got to tell you, she puts our producers through the exercises. But this is a live call-in show today because you got to keep your eye on the ball. And, one of the things that I'm acutely aware of is if you feel that you are caught behind the 8 ball and you want to win the game, then you shouldn't scratch on the 8 ball shot.
Not unless you're Stella.
If you're going to win at 8 ball and you're down to the last shot, which is the 8 ball, are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose? But today we're going to cover a whole lot of things. Colette Marie Stefan is my friend. She's also the creator of so many things. The Truth is Funny. And right behind her right now, if you're watching on Facebook, right behind her, right at the moment, you are going to get to see who else she has brought to the party. Who'd you bring today? It's so great to have you. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to connect with you, Pat. You already have me laughing.
It's funny, but I usually do the show from over there on the other side of the room. And I'm always have my back to the north and I'm facing the south. But today, because you're in the north, I needed to sit here to face the north.
There you go. That makes total sense. As you said, mind you and I have known each other a long time now, 7 years.
Yeah.
And so we make sense with each other, which doesn't necessarily mean other people, because we sort of have a tendency to understand what each other's talking about without having to really express it, all the way. But yeah, I really was really happy to come on the show today. I've been really enjoying my show. I've been pushing my boundaries and started doing video last year and doing lots of Facebook Lives and to up my game a little bit. And just really, really enjoying it actually now. I used to get nervous. Now I'm kind of like, Go look at the ones I first did and you'll notice I got better.
Well, I think we've entered a new realm where, and I think all of us have decided we have to do something different these days, right? Like right now, I'm just going to fix my collar. But what I mean by that is that I don't know about you, but the message that I'm getting is not to literally go quietly in the night or crawl under a rock or let my hair grow out brown again. None of those things. And if anything, I'm being asked to do some things now that we've never done before. I haven't done in a really long time. I want to ask you about the energies now.
Wow. Hey.
Friends say it's paradoxical. Other people say it's paradigmatic. Other people, everybody has something to say. Hi, Joanne on Facebook. Good morning to you. And so I want to get your take on it because in the background, you brought something interesting with you. Tell us about who she is, and does she actually represent the dates and the times we live in today?
Well, I'll start like kind of at the beginning. As you said, I'm the founder of The Truth is Funny, and that is the radio show, which I've now had, Pat. It's been 8 years that we've been gracing the airway, or 7 years, on April 28th, and that was on my little co-host Stella's birthday. But she doesn't always show up for work, even in the bar, even though she's an essential employee.
Yeah, no
She's not
kidding.
around. But anyway, Stella's my little cat. So I've been working on this project called Tales from the Vector, which is a series of 64 paintings that are, very large, as you can see. And like this one here is the number 63 out of 64 paintings in Tales from the Vector. So this is a 13-year project that is coming to completion. I have started neutrality. And I want to say to you, Pat, like over the years, I have my specialty is identifying and then eliminating hidden energetic blocks that stop people from getting what they want, whether that be in their health or in their fitness or business careers, relationships. Also, like energy, you can shift energy in all aspects of life. And I've been doing this to earn my keep on the earth for over a decade, as this is how I earn my living. All of my live events in the last 3 years, I really put my focus on my creating a program, which I called Call to Dance. It's an energetic upgrade program. And it is, there's 4 manuals with it. And these manuals are coloring books because I find that people, when they really start doing energy work, it brings out so much creativity. And I found for the last 10 years, I've been sharing this information with thousands of people from around the world. And I find when I first started teaching it, I used to bring Buzz Lightyear crayons, to infinity and beyond, and tell people take notes with those. Because when we are using our intuition and when we're doing energetic upgrades and we're shifting the energy, basically what we're doing is taking the vibration that we're at and strengthening it to attract what it is that we want in our lives. And really, the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal isn't to do everything perfectly. The goal isn't even necessarily to have to do anything at all. The goal is to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And so we're all in some very, very trying times right now. And, it's affected me and my business in many ways. I'm still waiting for the government to come up with a program for me.
Oh, you and me both.
Yeah.
Wait till we get started on that, because I have been sharing on air with the listeners. And I just want to say, I had got an email from one of our longtime listeners who said, Pat, I'm really glad you're talking about this and what you're going through, to just fill out the forms to get assistance. And what she said to me was, she said, all of us think we're alone in this. And to hear somebody like you who has resources and people, and you brought on an attorney to talk about what's available, even you can't get a call back from your bank. Even you can't fill out the right forms.
Okay, so this is really important because my reality, because I do energy work, is that if I can't reach my banker and I can't get those forms filled out, I haven't even started filling my forms out yet because I'm still waiting for it to be strong. And then I realized, it's actually not to do with the forms. It has to do with the fact that I have decided that I'm going to do my best to keep my business running. I'm going to do my best to be there for my clients because this is how I earn my living. I've put it out there that I'll work with people now, and you get 2 personal consultations for the price of 1. And, I'm doing the 3 card consultations and sending them in the mail to people, cheer them up. And I've come up with this new program, like we're talking about here, about, if you're caught behind the 8 ball and you don't know the rules of the game. And really, my market is a lot of women. And when I was younger, I thought, well, what do I want to be when I grow up and everything? And everybody else knew, and I didn't know. And I was getting close to school, and I was hanging out with my cousins and their friends. And these were all guys, right? And I ended up learning how to play pool pretty good. And I thought,
I did
maybe,
too.
yeah. And I thought maybe I'll become a pool shark.
I actually hustled my way through 18.
I wasn't as good as you, Pat. You stuck with it with the table tennis. But I thought this is kind of how a lot of people feel right now. Like, yeah, you need to fill out the form, but the form, it's impossible to fill out because you don't have the correct information, or there's different things happening. And so with energy work, what we want to do is we want to strengthen the situation. When I was going through a really difficult, challenging divorce, and I was having challenges, like I was getting ready. I was finally going to get my money, and I wanted to move, and I was looking to buy a house. All of a sudden my bank changed location, and then the guy that I had was gone. And I'm like, oh, great. And I walk into the bank to my new bank guy, and you know what his name was?
What?
Les Husband.
See, you can't make this stuff up, right?
I know.
You just can't make this stuff up.
He was the best guy. He did everything for me. I purchased a house here in BC, and I was in Saskatchewan, and he made sure it all worked. And just before that, 3 weeks before that, I had a seminar in Vancouver, and I asked the question, who here trusts their bank? And not one hand went up, except for one woman. And she goes, I have faith in myself that I can trust my decisions with the bank.
And I had to have that moment. For those of you just tuning in, Colette Marie Stefan is joining me here today. I want to give a shout out to the folks over on Facebook watching us. We are taking your call today, 1-800-930-2819, because, shift does happen. And sometimes we don't know what we don't know about this. But, that was the takeaway, though, for me. And I'm not sure what it was that clicked for me to remember what I do trust in the universe. I don't remember where that moment was. Maybe it was between having the realization that the sport that I love here, yes, I'm going to talk about it again, that it's pretty much cut off to all of us for a year. Mm-hmm. And we thought about that as a group. And Louis decided you can come go play at his house. And I decided I got to buy a table. If I'm going to keep doing something that helps my brain and stay fit, I got to do something. But along with that decision comes the next one, the next one, the next one. But I want to get to something you said, because part of this is the level of creativity that you bring forward, that we're bringing forward. And I've got producers running the show, and they never wavered about whether or not they were going to continue to support the network. Jessica, Kim, Linda, Chris, they never wavered. And I said to all of them, I know what you guys are saying. File for unemployment. Don't tell an untruth, but file. They're going to ask you the questions, because I don't know how long any of this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But we're going to get creative. And it's hard sometimes to really call on your creativity. Tell us what you do and what creativity has done energetically for the Queen of Shift.
Well, it's not uncommon for people. Like, okay, if you take when I talk about strengthening the vibration, I mean about having a clear picture of where you want this to go. And sometimes, like right now, it's not an ideal situation in many ways. One of the biggest weaknesses with what we're going through right now is that there's no experts. But there never was an expert in the beginning, or we wouldn't be going through what we're going through right now. So
but doesn't the expert reside within us?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and this is really what we've come to, right? the paradox that I want to talk with you about, right, as you know, Her Royal Highness of Shift. That sounds really good. Colette, Stefan, Her Royal Highness of Shift. What I want to talk about is the creativity of that 8 ball.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is that I have played pool. I played pool a lot of years. So there's the 1 ball, that's the black ball, that's the 8 ball.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is if you're playing the game of 8 ball, not 9 ball, but the game of 8 ball, is that somebody's going to have the solid, somebody's going to have the stripes.
Yeah.
And the first one to get rid of all of your ones, solid or stripes, and then get the 8 ball in wins the game.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a strategy to that.
Totally. That's what I'm saying. And I realize that for a lot of my clients, I have personal consultations, and then I have my seminars, and then I have the radio show where they could call in for free. But I also have teleconferences where people were sending me an issue, and I realized, oh, I'm just going to sprinkle those out throughout the day. And if someone's having a really bad moment, for $39.99, they can join 7 other people on a call with me, and we'll energetically shift it. And I find when you bring people together and they have common ground, and the common ground is, hey, I want my life to be better.
Yeah.
I want my life to be better. I want to be able to make strong choices and decisions right now. And this is the part that I feel, because you have to understand what I do is I'm tuning into the collective influence right now and how people are feeling. And like a month ago, people were experiencing a lot of grief.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of grief, and we're in this angry thing now, and we have a lot of this energy out there. Nobody really, what's coming up is there's so much information, but which is the accurate information about what to do and how to implement that in a strong way in our daily activities. And as you said, when we start having the very things that keep us rational and sane and grounded taken from us, it may seem like a small thing, like I know a sporting event to someone who doesn't do it. But for someone who looks forward to that every day and that's their form of release, then they have to find a new form of release right now. And I think it's a great idea for you to get your own table.
I did, and I got my own robot. But you know, part of this too is we are underestimating. I was listening to Dr. Kathy Aubert before we came on. You know, brilliant. What a leader in the world of, you know, making us understand the prejudice each of us carry, you know, for each other, for a race. And, you know, I'm really in tune with what she was saying, because I'm seeing the prejudice that my friends are going through now that I never would have thought about. And what I mean is, I spend most of my playing days with a group of Asian folks, and to see how they're being treated now, it is so heartbreaking and heartbreaking and gut wrenching.
This is so interesting to me because how are they being treated?
So let me give you the business example. So whether you are Chinese or not, if you look Asian, right, this is how prejudice runs, right? There are many, many different shades of an ethnicity. There are many of them, right? My grandfather was born in Brazil, so what does that make me? But because they look Asian, and because of the stigma we have now placed on the Chinese for, not my words, for causing this epidemic.
That is okay. So like, let's just stop right there, because like, I'm not someone who's an expert in all of this. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But energetically, when I tune in, that's ridiculous to blame it on a race of people. We are in this together as a human race, because we have managed to get ourselves to this point.
No kidding.
Quite frankly, I don't really, for myself, I've been very quiet about this. But the reason I got into this work like 10 years back is when the Dalai Lama said that Western women were going to lead the world to peace. And I thought, well, how are they going to do that? And I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're damn well going to do it. And so this is something that it's really important to recognize. What if this is one of the biggest opportunities we could ever be given to really take a good, close look at ourselves and look at what it is. And really, honestly, now is the very, very best time to be kind to each other.
It is.
Because you may not have the same fears that this person or that person has, but everybody has specific fears. Some people are fearing for their their homes, losing their homes, etc. Their fears are financial. Some people actually are afraid because they have immune compromised systems and they're afraid for their lives. There's some people that have no reason to be afraid whatsoever and they're afraid for their lives. And then there's people who there's just so much that's going on, and none of it is anything that we can classify as normal. So it's really cool right now if we look at it and we say, wow, what an opportunity for us to look at each other, look at ourselves, look at yourself. That's where it starts. That's what I've been doing. How can I improve my life right now and improve the lives of others? And I've had my moments where, I've been like a little ball weeping, like just totally like freaking out.
A total meltdown.
Yeah, and I
did. I had a total Bronx girl meltdown myself.
Mm-hmm. Or freaking out and getting really angry and stomping around the house and how is this possible? But really, right now, all of us are experiencing something that, and I've been telling this to a lot of parents who have the added pressure now of also educating their children during this time. And I'm saying, like, they won't remember what you teach them right now from the books. They're going to remember how they feel during this time and what they're taught about humanity and how to treat others. And maybe people should just be looking at humanity as a whole and asking, like, is it really just one race that has caused this problem? Because this problem definitely is, coming strong when I test it energetically. Is this a man-made problem? Yeah. By how many men? By how many races? And I'm getting every single one. But that's what I do. I test it without judgment. We're all responsible for what's happening right now.
It's hard to imagine we're not. In some strange
we are.
way.
We are responsible for what is happening right now. We're responsible for how we react to it or don't. And we are responsible for people who are weaker than us to make sure that those people are looked after. And we always have been. And so I feel that, there's a lot of things around this, and I'm not one for turning a negative into a positive. But at the same time, I've decided I'm going to improve myself during this time. I'm going to figure out better ways to share information. I'm going to find out, make sure I stay as calm as I can so that I can empower others to stay calm. Because people don't call me because they want me to be freaking out.
But you said something and we're experiencing it as well. When we were going through this back in the 8, 9, 7, 8, and 9 era and 10, creativity had to be the solution for me. I just wasn't willing to walk away from, at that point in time, it was, I was looking at a good 8 or 9 years, right, with the radio show. And then an opportunity came up out of WBLQ and Chris. And by the way, our buddy Brian from WBLQ says hello. He's over
Brian,
on Facebook.
hi.
Brian. Yeah, Brian. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Just right there. You just like, yeah. I don't believe that this is a way to take more freedoms away either. because what I'm seeing is, and Colette, this is something that I lost Colette right there, lost her
Oh,
video right there. Um,
let me see. Why is
I'm
that?
I'm seeing such ingenuity. So yes, while we are asking some people to not go back to work or not have the masses amount come together, we're also seeing some things happen that have never happened before. And when we come back, we're going to talk about them. Because the one thing that I learned very young, being homeless at 17, was that my freedom didn't come from an institution, it came from within and my connection to my higher power. We have the freedom to choose. And what will we choose? Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with Colette Marie Stefan. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. And I want to just give a shout out for my friends that might be listening to this. And we lost a dear friend of ours, and he'll be missed. We're not going to be able to play ping pong anymore with him. Sweetest guy you ever meet, Charlie. And we have a lot of that going on. So I think what you and I are talking about is we feel things and we're going to remember what we feel.
For myself, because honestly, my life hasn't changed that much, really, from this, except that my career was kind of stripped from me in some ways, half of it. I can't do my live events, etc. But hey, if that protects people and it makes people feel better that they're being protected in this way, and there's all this fear out there, isolation, whatever. I'm not going to say either way what I feel about this. What I am going to do is talk about how I've been working on a protocol. And a protocol is just like behind when I'm talking, I'm energetically picking up weaknesses that I can feel. And I'm running energy and strengthening those for everybody listening now and listening later. And so for me, I've been working on this protocol and I've been looking at all of this information that we have. And that's what we have. We have so much information. We're so blessed to be able to have this much information, but we also have to be able to sort through what feels true for us. And so that's why I'm saying to be very kind and respectful of people and understand that people have a lot of fear right now. And some people are fearing because they're fearing for their finances or whatever. And some people are fearing for their freedom. And they do have concerns about their freedom at this time. And those are valid fear. It's a valid fear. If people are allowed to have fears about actually getting sick and dying from the virus, people are also allowed to have fears about being imprisoned for the rest of their lives or forced to take mandatory vaccination, etc. These are valid fears. And getting sick and dying from something is a valid fear. And so to me, to allow people to like tune in, okay, what's my fear? And then break that fear down, because fear is the very thing that is going to make people weaker on health level. Fear is the worst thing for your immune system. And so this could be looked at in many ways. And like, this is why I feel that a lot of people end up like with meditation, etc., and talk about meditation and about being able to go inward in this way. And like just get really calm inside, because when we're in the middle of the storm, that's not when you clean up a storm. Have you ever tried to clean up a storm? There was a wind whipping through here yesterday and it was like branches were flying, and I went back in the house and chilled out, and then when it was done I went out and started cleaning up. And so what we need to recognize right now is that we need to tune into what's going on. And I've set up this protocol and I've just divided it what's the number one weakness right now for people?
Well, how do people find out about that? Let's make sure we give everybody your information and website.
Okay.
Because I think it's important. Some people are getting it on Facebook Live, but for all of our audio listeners, let's tell them how they can connect with you directly.
Okay, well, you're a good team there on it with me. What we're doing is right now, when you go on my website and you sign up for my newsletter, you automatically get this. It's an MP3 recording about affirmations of success. And so what we're working towards right now, I actually have an appointment with Zach, your producer here, for tomorrow at 11. And I'm going to videotape probably a 15, 20-minute protocol, just talking about what can we do to be stronger, healthy, energetically. And remember, this is just, and then what are the weaknesses around the fear, the weaknesses around the government, the tactics. Let's just clear this. Let's get everybody like strong and in a strong place and then move forward. So this will be a video I'm getting around 15 to 20 minutes. I've been working on it for about a month, but it's quite complicated. And I wanted to wait until I was satisfied with the information that I was getting as far as energetically shifting this on a physical level. You have to understand that when people get sick on a physical level, it never, almost ever, 99.999% of the time is not at root cause a physical. It's not a physical cause. There's underlying emotional, psychological, psychic, ancestral, all sorts of reasons why these things are happening, and the way and the reasons why we're feeling and why there's weaknesses. And as we can clear these and for people and they get out of fear, then they can make stronger choices about how are we going to move forward in this. And there's Stella. She's decided I'm going to come.
I know she heard us talk. Yeah.
She says, she goes, I'm getting tired of hearing all about this coronavirus thing. She said, Colette won't leave me alone. She won't leave the house. Get your tail out of my face, Stella.
But there's something magical that happens when it does get cleared, though. And it's hard to explain until you've gone through it.
Oh,
until you've had that when the eye of the storm happens, it is such calm.
Yes.
There's such peace from the eye of the storm. That doesn't mean the storm is gone, but it allows that clearing, that moment of clearing allows for every one of us to have intense parallel moments of clarity. It could be a creative time, but then the storm comes again. And then what?
Yeah. Well, for me right now, I was really sad. Like all of the fairs that I've gone, I put a lot of time and energy, money, effort into this business and into this new program. And it was just taking off and ready to go do all these live events. And I had to cancel them all until September at this point. But hey, now I'm working on an online program and I'm having fun doing it.
Exactly.
And your team right now is working for me to get this video done. And then when you go to my newsletter, if you want to sign up for it, you'll get this video. Now, for those of you, because I have a lot of people already that have that MP3, that video for that and are saying, but I don't want to go off your newsletter and go back on. As soon as we get this done, we're going to send it out to the newsletter community in a separate newsletter so people will get it. And then the people that are new that sign up for it will automatically get it. So you won't be left out either way. And it's just something I want to put together, maybe make people laugh a little bit. The more serious you take things, have you noticed, the more challenging sometimes it can find those creative, calm situations. I've seen so many parents out there right now with all these creative ways that they're getting their children to learn different things. And, and just think about all the skills these kids are learning as far as like Zoom and teleconferencing.
Oh my gosh.
And oh my goodness, like, these little 10-year-olds are doing what I was like challenged as an adult. And look at, so there's some beautiful things that can come out of this. It's not an ideal situation.
No.
I mean,
I got to give a shout out to Zoom, and we have no affiliation whatsoever for Zoom. So I just want to say that. But in the 16 years I've been doing this, and there's a reason we created our own technology, right? But I've never seen a larger technological company like a Zoom or any of those, right? I've never seen them adapt, adjust, and get back online in the time that they did.
Mhm.
Because what they went through with good people trying to bring other people together, for example, all the 12-step programs went online. And so those programs were hacked, and Zoom was like, we're down today. They were up like in 24
I
hours with
remember
the
that
most.
because
So
it was right around that time, like, because I've been working with your team to get all my teleconferences
yeah.
um, on Zoom so that now they can be more interactive, which was something I was planning to do next year. But these things
Right.
are a lot of work. And so I just want to really give a really big shout out to Jessica and Kim and everybody that's been on your team that, that's working with me. Like, I just feel so blessed right now. And
Yeah.
yeah, I have my lonely times and I'm feeling kind of sad and I feel scared at times and I'm wondering, like, what's going to happen, but I'm actually really proud of myself that I'm still in business. I
I got to
haven't
tell
I
you, we're
haven't
in.
I haven't filled out a form yet. It hasn't been easy.
Well, look, it's not easy, but
Mm-mm.
if it wasn't for Zach, who's running this show, and Zach unwavering about his commitment to keep things rolling,
Yeah.
Jessica too, Olivia too. I
Hmm.
mean, if you saw what these folks on this team have done, everything from bringing and setting up home studios, and then if that didn't work, then yeah, I mean,
I love it.
nobody
And
knows
see, these are
nobody
the
knows
things,
that.
and people, but this is sort of like, it's not, Pat, about trying to change a negative into positive. There, like, in my protocol, I promise you, because I'm a very blunt person, but I found a way to make people laugh about this coronavirus. Like, just, hey, if you can laugh at how to defeat things, and I laugh in the face of danger. But I'm
Well,
talking
I
more
did a
about,
whole
like,
coronavirus skit. I was in front of a couple of kids, and I just ran out of things to say about it. And so I took this basketball and I cut it out and I put it over my head and I made it look like a coronavirus thing, right? I swear I was really desperate at this point. And I had this
I'm
conversation.
not going to those links in my video.
And I had this conversation with them as if I was, and I did. I really said to them, "Hey, I gave it a name. It was like corny Corona or something." And I said, "Look, I'm really sorry what you're all going through." I mean, I really played this out. What I found with that, even though this was me in a moment of desperation for, believe it or not knowing how to talk about it. And these
Yeah.
kids were like asking me questions.
Hmm.
They were
That's
talking to me as if I was like it, and they were literally saying, "Well, why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep spreading?" And my answer was, "I don't know why, but I want you to find a way to stop." It was the most fascinating thing I had done almost in my life, but it was the scariest thing. I mean, first of all, I was in a voluntary position with them, and then I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I haven't been around kids for like ever, right? But isn't this the way that we show our creativity and support of each other? But
exactly.
man, fear brings hate.
Well, it's kind of like when I was in ceremony, I got very clearly that the opposite of fear is not hate. The
Oh, I
opposite
don't
of
think it's
fear is or the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite, and it's not fear. The opposite of love is lack of respect.
oh my God, yeah.
And I honestly get number one reason why, if you look at our physical body, our intrinsic body, And then you look at our cells at the microcosmic level, and then you look at, your environment where you live, and then going out there and out into the world, and then out into the universe. And you think about how big that gets, how every, like everything is part of that. And so every thought that you have around this, if you have a lot of fear, that's what you're sending out to people, and that's what you're sending down to your cells. And so it's really important for people to recognize that what's going on kind of in the intrinsic body is also going on in the cellular level at some point, and also is happening out there in the big wide world. And so if people are actually afraid of a virus, which is something we can't see without a microscope, for one thing, you can't see it coming. But if people are going to be afraid of viruses, they'd be horrified to realize how many viruses, how many bacteria, bugs, parasites that we actually have in our body. And so if there's parasites in the physical body, then there's parasitic energy in the cells, and there's parasitic energy in the whole world. And so this is how, like, if you look at it from that perspective, that if we're all connected, then everything we're doing is happening on many levels here. So I say that, if physical illness is not just caused on a physical level, but it's emotional and mental and psychological and psychic, and there's all these other reasons why it might be happening, then we need to look at what's happening in the whole big picture here and see, like, hey, what is going on here? And part of it that tests really weak right now is how people treat animals.
I did a 15-minute interview with PETA, and what was happening with the testing of monkeys. And I did a 15-minute interview with them to support them. But you said one thing, and I want to get back to it. When I did my dissertation, I did that research on broken promises. One of the very unexpected results, it wasn't unexpected for me because I experienced it. But when you go to school, they make you put all of these things inside into some mathematical equation, statistical form. But one of the things that they were all surprised at in the end game of my research is when I asked hundreds and hundreds of people, studies from Boeing to different companies all over the country, and I asked people what they felt the number one obligation was that their immediate boss had to provide them, not the company, but the next person, their coworker, that person. Number one, if they could pick any other thing in the planet, whatever it is, better pay, job security, number one, what would you pick? Would you say people are obligated? 98% across the board said respect.
Mm-hmm.
Not money, not job security, not health benefits.
Being treated with respect.
And in research, what do they call that? They call it some fancy name. But I knew inside that was the thing, that right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
and
Aretha Franklin would have something
actually
to say about
starts respect actually starts with self-respect.
It does start there. You can't, you and I know this. It's hard to really share something with somebody else that you don't have for yourself.
And well, you can't.
But you could sure try.
You could try. But you might think you're doing it, Trying is just another word for not doing.
I know it. I want you to just, let's make sure people know how to listen to your show, but also how to really connect with you.
Okay.
As you're getting ready to launch this, it would be so fun for people to know more about how they can connect with you.
Sure. I have so many ways, because the first one would be, of course, thetruthисfunny.com. And the radio show, The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens. And I also have a book, and that is available on Amazon, and it's also available at Lulu. and on my website. And that is The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens, Stuff You Wish Your Mom Had Known to Tell You. I also have on Facebook and other social media, I have The Truth is Funny with Colette. I have Be Irresistible. So these are telespas that I have been engaged, like having once a month. And we pick a different body part and we work on that, because one thing you may have noticed, one thing I've noticed is that even in the pandemic, people are saying, I can hardly wait to get my hair cut. I can hardly wait to get, you know. So, the telespas are part of what I do, because you can use energy work to be more youthful in that. And I was getting really amazing results. But one of the things that came out of this, I have more time, well, kind of, and I decided, I've been wanting to take, I want to put my call to dance program online.
Wow.
And so I decided I need to just, instead of taking another marketing course, I'm going to take a course that I'm interested that does really good marketing. And so now I just started on May 1st. I am going to be certified as a face yoga teacher.
Wow.
By the end of September. And
wow.
I have my teacher's certificate in psychosomatic therapy, and I have the master's in the energy work. But to be able to put the genius of this woman into like the knowledge of the anatomy of the face, etc.
Wow.
I'm just so excited about it. So that's one of the things that I'm moving forward. And I'm working on an online program. And, I was kind of like, I'm getting excited about it. I'm like, oh, I could do it this way and that way. So those are things. But if you go to my website, generally, like thetruthisfunny.com, I also have Tales from the Vector if you're interested in looking at the paintings. They're all up except for neutrality. It's kind of been hard for me to paint neutrality.
Yep, I bet.
In this space. As I get neutral to it, then I can finish the painting. So yeah, those are all ways. Instagram, all those ways. Teleconferences. Yeah, and tomorrow I will actually be doing a interview at 1:00 Facebook Live with Carly from the Holistic Fair. Now she's been like pioneering putting this fair on for 5 years, and really sad that she doesn't get to put it on. It was her 5-year anniversary.
Wow.
This is one of the ways that she's interviewing us and having people be able to call us and say hi, at least, until we can open again.
I mean, I want to thank you for all and everything of what you've done. I know on a personal level, you have supported me personally and helped me enormously. And, also you were one of our contributors to the launch of AI for the Soul, our crowdfunding initiative. And we are doing that this month. We've made an adjustment to it because we learned something from COVID-19. We learned that what we could create here, and had we had AI for the Soul in place, we would have been able to connect people with people, right? Mm-hmm. People that need a particular thing, we would have been able to connect them. And it really shed a light on that for us. So we're going to be launching AI for the Soul, which we're very excited about. But you have helped so many people, Colette. I cannot even begin to tell you. And people know that and love you.
Well, I want to say, because I want to make sure I have the opportunity to say this, that if you've had my back through this. And because of that, because of your team, I have the privilege of being able to do things with a little bit more ease than I would have in the past. And I want you to know that I have so much love and respect for what you're doing and for sharing this information. And for all the people out there right now that are going through what you're going through, I want to be able to, phone in. I always wanted my radio show to be for people to call in if they're feeling really down or whatever, and let's shift it. And we also have, beautiful Karen Benton, my co-host, once a month, and she always brings this beautiful perspective. And here's someone that was like a emergency nurse, in New York. Yeah. So she knows a lot about a lot of things that happen in the hospital. So all of this, thank you, Pat, and and your team. And like I say to them, oh, I need an advertisement and I need it to look like this. And they're like, what can we do to help you, Colette? Those little things are the things that keep me going.
I know. I have to tell you, I really am blessed. And, you know, it is those things that I get to hold in consciousness along with you and, you know, the work that you do and all of the listeners, all of the people that tune us in, the people that are watching on Facebook right now that are putting the little heart symbols out there. We're not going anywhere. And we want to assure people of that. We know we're going to get better and we're going to do more, just like you said. Colette, thank you so much for today. Last question. What's your personal message? What do you want to leave us with today?
You know what I want to say to you is it's okay to be afraid. And it's okay to feel alone and a little bit scared and to feel all of these emotions. And it's also okay to feel really happy right now. Because for me, this is kind of, I'm starting to see all the opportunities. I've been through many challenges in my life. My dad was paralyzed from head to toe within a 36-hour period. And my mom passed, and I was locked out of her home when she had the flu. I understand a lot of these emotions that a lot of you are going through and a lot of the fears. And I want to tell you that this will end. And you can choose right now to enjoy the moments that you can enjoy. And if you are having a beautiful time right now, enjoy it. You deserve it. You deserve it to take this time to really love yourself and to really decide, how am I going to use this time to come out of this even stronger?
Colette, Marie, Stefan, everybody. I'm Dr. Pat. We love all of you. And boy, please check out what Colette is preparing for everyone, because the truth really is funny. We'll see you next time.
All clear.
Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Bye, Colette. Thank you. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, everyone.